Hey, this is Russell with Auto Paint Plus. Today we're going to talk about how to set up your paint gun properly so that it sprays your paint like you want it to. Having a proper adjustment on your paint gun is very important because there's a lot of adjustments on there, and if they're not dialed in properly, kind of like a carburetor on an engine, if it doesn't have the proper amount of fuel air ratio, then you're not going to get a good performance, and the same with a paint gun. So first of all, let's take a look at a couple different styles of paint guns and what you're going to see mainly when you go out and buy a gun, and to identify the knobs and what they do that are on the guns. All right, so here's three common paint guns or designs that you're going to see out there. So first of all, let's take a look. This is a Seda 95 knockoff or replica, probably the most reproduced gun in history because it's a good gun and it works very well. So let's take a look at the knobs on this particular gun. If you take a look here, you have an air adjustment. This adjusts the amount of air flow to the gun. This is your pattern adjustment, wide to narrow. It actually adjusts the fan pattern and how wide your gun sprays. This is your fluid adjustment. It adjusts how much fluid comes out of the gun, how much paint it delivers, okay? And most of them are very similar. This is the W400, which is the little brother of the LPH 400. And you take a look at it, it has the same air adjustment screw at the bottom, but the fluid adjustment is here, and then this is your fan pattern adjustment here. Last of all, we have a Seda replica, all right? There's a couple different Sedas. This is the new school, and it has the air adjustment screw here, the fluid adjustment screw here, and your fan pattern adjustment screw here. So when you get your gun and you pull it out of the box, you have no idea where the adjustments are set. So first thing we want to do is take it, clean it, and then what we're going to do is put a little bit of reducer in the gun, and we're going to spray it to see where the fan pattern's at. So we've attached a regulator at the bottom of the gun. Sometimes you get one with your gun, sometimes you don't, but we recommend that you do use one. So you want to know that you're shooting the right amount of, or having the right amount of air pressure coming through the gun. So check the tech sheet on the gun to see how it's supposed to be set, what recommended air pressure you should be running. After you've attached the regulator, we also recommend that you open this air adjustment screw wide open, because if you don't, even though this one says you're shooting 22 pounds of air pressure, if this is turned halfway off, you're not getting that full 22 pounds. So make sure this is wide open before you start adjusting your regulator. To attach your air to your regulator, take a look. Right now my needle says that I'm at 130 pounds, all right? That's the pressure from the compressor, not what's going through the gun at this time. So if I squeeze my trigger part way, it'll tell me that I'm actually spraying just about 24 pounds. The LPH 400 and the LV or the W400 like to operate right around 18 to 22 pounds. So that's where I want to be. So again, I'm going to take and adjust my gauge to run at about 22 pounds. So before you start spraying paint, we recommend that you go home, take a piece of paper of some sort, and stick it on the wall. If you start spraying paint on the wall, the wife's not going to be very happy about that, and plus it makes your shop look bad. So attach a piece of paper on the wall, take your air hose, plug yourself in. Let's see where this thing's spraying right now. Whoa, straight out of the gun. This is why we check before we start to spray. So right now our fan pattern is really narrow. So I'm going to take my fan pattern adjustment screw, I'm going to start opening it up. 1, 2, figure out where you're at. Okay, we're getting the right direction. Open it up a couple more rotations. Okay. You see the fan pattern we're getting right now? It's fairly wide. That's about 9 to 10 inches right there. Plus it's narrow. All right, we don't want a round fan pattern. We want to get it as wide as we possibly can while keeping an even width on the pattern. So our fan pattern is looking pretty good there. Like I said, again, get it as wide as you can while keeping it even. If you open it up too wide, and I've seen this happen, some guys will take their gun out and they just start squeezing the trigger, and all of a sudden, oh, look at that, still looking pretty good. Well, when you're working with a good gun, sometimes you can't make them screw up. But we can make this happen. Hang on a sec. Let's take a look at this one. All right, there's a couple things we see here. As it dries out, we can see that we've got a really heavy amount of paint here on both ends of the pattern width and kind of dry in the center. That's going to cause problems. So let's take and we'll narrow our fan pattern down a little bit. All right, we're closer. Turn it down just a little bit more. Oh, a little too much. All right, we're getting there. Okay, we're still a little bit dry, so let's crank her down just a little bit. All right. So we're about 11 to 12 inch wide fan pattern, but you can see that we're consistent all the way across. If I have a split pattern where I've got dry in the middle and heavy at both ends, I'm going to get tiger stripes or runs. Because I got heavy here. If you're shooting a dark metallic or something like that, or even a silver, you're going to see a stripe here where it hits, lays in heavy, and it'll make this metallics settle, and you'll have a dark streak. And then in the center where it's dry, you'll have more sparkly because the metallics are standing up. So heavy, and if you're shooting clear coat with this gun, you're going to have a heavy streak here, dry in the middle, and paint flows, and it flows consistently across the panel. If you have a heavy spot here and a dry spot, that clear is going to run and it's going to hit that dry spot. It's going to stop, but it wants to keep flowing. And it's going to build up a little bit of line, a little bit of an edge here. It's going to roll over that edge, and then you have a little hanger right here and here. So make sure that your pan pattern adjustment is right. The other thing to worry about or concerned about is the amount of material that's in your gun. And you can do this, turn it sideways, squeeze the trigger, all right, and it kind of tells you, is my fan pattern even? If it runs evenly across the page here, that means it's good. If I open the base back up again, do the same thing, I'm going to see a lot of run here, no run in the middle. That's another way to check your fan pattern. And also to check how much fluid you've got. Some guys will spray it for like a half a second and see if it runs down the panel when it's adjusted properly. That'll tell them how much fluid's coming out. So again, the amount of fluid, your air pressure, and a proper fan pattern adjustment is critical to get your paint job to look right. If it's not working this way, the best paint in the world is not going to look good unless you're spraying it like it's supposed to be sprayed. So with most guns, you're going to get a manual. Some of it's written in a lot of different languages. This Iwata manual has a couple different languages, but on the front here we've got the English version. It'll tell you how to set your gun up. It'll also give you troubleshooting scenarios here. In case your fan pattern is, as we talked about right here, split fan, curved fan, heavy on one side, spitting, or chattering, okay, where it tends to surge, okay. There's a lot of things in this manual right here that will tell you how to fix problems with your gun or how to adjust the gun to avoid these kind of problems. So take the manual, read the darn thing, and it'll help you out a lot.